there are a lot of incredible human beings working behind the scenes over here on the team, man. Part of Team Mack, holding it down. And I feel so lucky to have a team of people that I genuinely love being around. I genuinely love having conversations with these people. We are a virtual team by and large, so a lot of these people I'm not with in person very often. But I have been able to meet everybody on the team in person multiple times, which is beautiful. And I thought it would be cool to, feature some of the people who are working behind the scenes, allow you all as the audience to get to know some of these people that you otherwise wouldn't necessarily know about, because they're fantastic people. They work incredibly hard, and they are the reason that all of this happens. I could just be somewhere freestyling in a basement by myself, like I was just talking about, forever and ever and ever, if I didn't have these people helping me to edit the videos, to work on the audio, to design the thumbnails, to do all the things that are necessary to package this stuff and get it out to the people. And so every now and again, we're going to sprinkle in some questions from members of Team Mack. And for this first one, we have a question from my guy, Fadle. I should mention that Fadle is, well, first and foremost, he has the greatest smile of anybody I've ever met. I think we can agree on that, right?
Facts.
Greatest, warmest smile, one of the kindest people I have ever met. And the type of person where if the energy is low or veering negative in any way, shape, or form, if you insert a Fadle into the equation, the energy will make a full 180 and accelerate all the way to joy almost instantaneously. And he's such a great person, and he's somebody that I feel so grateful to know, and I'm so happy to have him here on the team. And he also is a phenomenal creator in his own right, and has a channel which you all should check out, which we'll link in the notes, youtube.com/@fads. And he does these incredible video essays.
So talented.
Yeah, and I have learned so much from his videos. And I'm sure you all will as well if you're not already familiar. But he's growing very fast on his own YouTube channel, so you might already be hip. But you may not have known that he was also editing videos for Team Mack. And he sent us a question. Should we run this?
Yeah, fire it up.
Let's get it. Here we go from Fadle.
Hi, I'm Fadle, and I edit the social media content that you guys see on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, or any other social media platform. I've done it for a couple of years now, and every time I watch one of Harry's freestyles, I am still just as impressed as I was the day I first found him. But I did have a question. One thing I've noticed, Harry, is that you're really good at connecting with people, no matter how much background they have in the world of hip hop and rap in general. And I'm always curious about the questions that you're asking yourself in real time to make sure that a rap can resonate with the audience. Do you consciously vary your flows and rhyme schemes and their complexity based on the audience's reaction? How do you know whether or not to swear or censor yourself in a bar? And how much can you even tell if a person is enjoying it in real time? I'm really curious about that aspect because the energy exchange has always been one of the most important parts, but I don't really know how it works in practice.
All right. Shout out my boy Fadle. Amazing question. And you can tell he's a great creator. Look at this setup, man. Look at this. This guy is not in the flotel, okay? This guy is really doing it. Awesome question. Yeah, the energy exchange is everything, man. That's the biggest piece. I always say that my freestyles are only as good as the energy that's being poured into them by the audience. And that applies on many levels, It's only as good as the suggestions that they're giving me. It's only as good as, the energy that I feel from them while I'm performing. And part of my job is to try to the best of my ability to conjure that positive energy from the audience. I consider it part of my job to pull that energy out of the audience. And that requires a high level of situational awareness, social awareness, I guess, would be the way to frame it. And I do think that it's such an important piece of what I do is having this level of social awareness so that I can relate positively to the audience, regardless who they are. And obviously, if you're approaching strangers on the street to do performances for them, I think that's really, really important. And this is an interesting question. You ask, what are the questions running through my mind when I'm trying to do that? What's the mechanism? How does it actually work? And it is, I will admit, complicated. And I think a lot of it is happening kind of at this subconscious level. It's almost more of a feeling. It's less like there's a specific question in my mind. Should I swear right now? Should I not? Should I go to double time right now? Should I not? It's more like just this feeling. I don't know how else to put it. It's like a vibe. I think, social awareness is another one of those terms that we use where it's not a simple skill, it's a complex skill, and therefore there's a big stack of micro skills that sort of all chunk up to become what is social awareness. So when you say, oh, that guy has really great social awareness, it's like you're really saying that they're picking up on people's body language in real time. They're noticing people's tone when they're saying something back to them. They're aware of how close or how far they are to somebody else. They're aware of maybe the age of the people that they're engaging with and what may or may not be appropriate to share based on that context. So a lot of this is kind of just like rapid firing in my brain, and I don't even really necessarily, I couldn't point to exactly what's happening. That being said, there are some things that stand out to me when I'm out there doing my thing that kind of help guide how I'm going to approach the freestyle to try to best connect with the audience and pull that energy out of them. A really clear example that I'm sure a lot of you have picked up on when watching my freestyles, if I see what looks to me to be a family where maybe there's a dad holding like a 2-year-old and then there's another like 6-year-old and holding dad's hand down on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead and assume that's a family, So when I see that, it's like, okay, I'm going to try to do something that is, I guess, family friendly, right? And I wouldn't say that all of my content is family friendly by a long shot, but in that instance, I want to relate positively to the audience, and being as there's small kids there, I don't want to come in hot and be like, yo, I'm the baddest motherfucker in the game. I'm the shit. Y'all rappers are lame. You getting slain. I'm killing motherfuckers on the daily. I'm not trying to go full on in that bag, where I'm really swearing aggressively. So there's this natural sort of instinct to just adjust the delivery and the types of vocabulary that I'm reaching for. And I think a lot of this comes down to this notion of freestyling and performing in general being a conversation with the audience. That's how I always have viewed what I do. Like, I'm engaged in a two-way conversation with the audience. And obviously that applies really directly with what I do, because people are actually, like, there is a conversation at the beginning of every video where I'm getting words from people and kind of explaining what I want to try to accomplish. And I need them to talk and respond. It's not like I'm just up there and they're just out there watching, right? But yeah, I view it as a conversation. So if I was approaching a family in general and wanted to engage with them in conversation, I wouldn't walk up to a family with little kids and be like, "What up, motherfuckers?" And I don't think you would either, whoever you are watching at home, right? We all kind of know that. And so for me, the challenge is less knowing what's appropriate in any given situation, and more so training my freestyle ability to the point where I actually have the level of control that's required to make those adjustments in real time while freestyling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the hard part. It's not as hard for me, for whatever reason, to know that, okay, there's a family here. Again, I don't think this would be very hard for anybody. It's not that hard to, and maybe I shouldn't say that. It might be challenging for some people, but most of us would know that if it's a family with young kids, you're not going to swear or say things that are really like grotesque or whatever. But censoring yourself while you're freestyling can be very hard. And anybody who's new to it and just getting started, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And especially when we were young, man, like the crutch words, the words that you use just to fill in the blanks while you're trying to figure out what you're going to say next. It was often like, I don't give a fuck. I'm flowing off the top when it comes to freestyles, man. The Mack don't stop. I don't even give a fuck. I'm just, that's a very common crutch phrase, which is, a side note, actually a cool crutch phrase, because it probably helps you enter the frame of mind of not caring and being able to be in that childlike
I do give a fuck. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. It's like, I'm saying this to try to convince myself that I don't, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah, that's cool.
But yeah, that's one example. Another example of this, though, is, in all of my freestyles, I try to incorporate the poetic devices that I think make rap one of the most beautiful art forms that has ever been created. So I'm always trying to incorporate wordplay, word flips, metaphors, similes, alliteration, multisyllabic rhyming. I'm of course trying to incorporate these aspects of the craft that make it insanely beautiful and that have drawn me to it my whole life, right? And that all of our favorite rappers are masterful at. And so as I start to dish some of that out, some of those more kind of elaborate word flips or metaphors, etc., my antenna are up, not really consciously, but it's happening. I'm scanning, I'm paying attention to the audience at all times. I'm trying to read their energy at all times. And sometimes you'll notice when you do more of an intricate bar, you can kind of in real time sort out who maybe doesn't necessarily listen to hip hop in their free time, might not be the hugest hip hop head or even really listen to it at all, from the people who really do listen to hip hop and understand the nuances and the intricacies that make it beautiful, right? Because when you do an elaborate bar or some kind of wordplay that might go over a lot of people's heads, there's often, or there might be somebody in the audience that goes full stank face, ooh, you know, or says like, oh, bars, you know, stuff like that, like what we do in ciphers when somebody's really killing it. And so immediately I'll notice that and say, oh, okay, this person or these people can really appreciate the nuance and the intricacy. And so that's, to me, a signal. It's like, I can lean into this aspect of it, which
that
that
spreads to the people next to them. They're kind of like your partner there a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it's contagious. You know, it's contagious. And it's fun, too, because then for me, it's like I'm a kid in a candy shop. You know, I really get to play. You know, there's that word play again, but I really get to play in the way that I love to play, you know, wordplay, literally. You know, there again, it has that word play embedded into it. And that's fun. And what I love, too, is the sort of juxtaposition of those two worlds, just as two examples. You know, there's other signs and energies that I'm picking up on in real time. These are just kind of two examples that are easy to sort of explain and point to. But, you know, if you have some deep hip hop heads over here who really have listened to the canon of rap and will appreciate the wordplay, and then you have the family over here that maybe doesn't, you know, and there's some young kids, you know, and when you put those together, I just love the challenge of kind of pulling together people from all different walks of life with all different frames of reference and trying to find that commonality. Because in my experience, there always is, there's this mix, there's this balance that we can achieve where everyone kind of starts to feel like they're all part of one whole, you know, one collective energy. And, you know, playing with that is really fun for me. It's kind of like the crossfader for the DJ, you know, for those who don't know, it's like the crossfader is how you control which of the two turntables is being heard at any one time. So if it's all the way left, you only hear the left turntable. All the way right, you only hear the right turntable. If it's dead center, you hear 50% of each. And as you slide further left, you get more of the left turntable and less of the right. So it's like a volume that is, you know, inverted and crossfading between two different sound sources. And sometimes I feel like that's what's happening when I'm freestyling in this situation. You got the deep hip hop heads over here. You got the family over here. You got the like real chill dude that looks like he might have just smoked a joint that wants to laugh. You know, he wants a comedy show.
He's loving this, or if he's confused, but he's locked in.
Yeah. And so he might be waiting for something humorous, you know, and it's like, okay. And I'm just like kind of moving this crossfader, finding this balance where it's like, I can pull you in this way and I can pull you in this way and I can pull you in this way, but let me see if I can pull us all in and make us all kind of get on the same wavelength. So, yeah, I mean, to me, that is a huge part of the craft. And this actually speaks to what we were talking about in the last episode about the, you know, whether you're an entertainer or an artist or a craftsperson. I think this is really the entertainer in me. But interestingly, I think it's also the craftsman, and I think it's also the artist. There's an art to finding that common thread, you know, with like a diverse crowd and figuring out how you can make everybody feel like they're part of it and positively relate to everyone. And I think, you know, I've always been somebody who appreciates lots of different dimensions of hip hop and rap and music and art, you know. So I of course appreciate like the most complex, intricate lyricism, but I also really appreciate the beauty of simplicity, you know. And so I think that plays into this as well, you know, depending on the makeup of the audience and also just depending on the size of the audience and even the acoustics of the space you're in. Sometimes if you try to get too intricate, like maybe if I'm rapping too fast or if it's too dense with too many syllables just crammed in, you might lose people.
Go back and forth on the mixer as much as you could.
Yeah, or just if it's like tearing it up when I'm blaring this stuff and they were aware that, you know, it's like people might be like, what's he saying right now? And that can be cool for a moment and that might appeal to some people, but then sometimes shifting back into the beautiful simplicity of just saying something that connects and is easy to understand. Shout out to my guy that's rocking the blue sweatshirt. Oh, everyone sees it, you know, that can sometimes be the most powerful way to bring everybody together. So it's a constant challenge, and it's a challenge that I love to embrace. And I'm always trying to get better at connecting with any audience, anytime, anywhere, because I think that's the beautiful thing about being creative, and the beautiful thing about making art and performing for audiences is it's an opportunity where regardless of if everybody would actually agree in conversation, we can all agree in this moment that there's a special human connection happening, and we can all kind of get on the same wavelength, even if it's just momentary.
I love it, man.
Hell yeah. Shout out to my boy Fadle. Make sure you go, everybody that's watching this, go subscribe right now. We have the link in the show notes. Subscribe, youtube.com/@FADS. Support my man. Get in early, because this guy's about to be huge, and we love him so much. Thank you, Fadle, for your question and for everything you do.